Hello everybody, welcome. Today I would like to share some reflections from an Ayurvedic perspective on the power of rhythm, or in other words, that as you change your schedule, you can change your life. We are very much connected with nature, and if you've been following along with some of the the videos that we've been sharing around Ayurveda, you know that the elements play a big role, and the elements are within us but also around us. And we're all intimately familiar with the natural rhythms of nature, for example, night and day, and the seasons, and of course, the cycles of the moon every month, and the ebb and flow of the waters by the gravitational pull of the moon. And what is interesting nowadays is that our life has opened up so much, in the sense that we've got artificial light, we can reach people on the other side of the planet within a few seconds with all the technology that we have, that the life that we've created for ourselves is pretty much very inviting for us to adopt a rhythm in our days that is not necessarily aligned with those natural cycles that we find in nature. There are names for the cycles. For example, the night and day rhythm called circadian rhythms is about a 24-hour cycle, which we're probably most intimately familiar with consciously because we know that we go to bed, most of us, in the evening and get up in the morning. And, and as the Earth revolves around the sun during a year, the 12 months, then we got the seasons, and we dress different depending on the season, if it's cold, if it's warm. So we know all that. However, what we might not all be as consciously aware of is the importance of us aligning ourselves with those natural rhythms for health and for vitality and for stability in our mind, in our vitality, in our health, in our bodies. Because you might know that depending on how you wake up in the morning, like how often do you wake up in the morning fully rejuvenated, revitalized, with a lot of enthusiasm to start the day? And some of you will, or sometimes you will, and often we won't. And Ayurveda actually has quite a good view on it, like why it often is that some things are not working as well in our lives. And one of the first things that they recommend is to align ourselves with the rhythm of nature. I remember it's about a few years back that I was in an Ayurvedic retreat center in India, and actually one of the very first things they did and emphasized that schedule of the day. They gave us like an A4 paper with like, get up at this time, then do this, and they took it like through a day. And the doctor said that actually following this rhythm, which is aligned with the rhythms of nature, will be equally as powerful, if not more, than the herbs and the medicine you get and some of the therapies. And I found it quite fascinating, like their trust. And it's not just trust, I mean, they know that when we align ourselves with the rhythm of nature, we invite nature's healing mechanisms to awaken within us, the self-healing mechanism, like health and vitality and longevity starts to come out in a beautiful way. And there's another element to it. Because whether you see us talk about yoga or about Ayurveda or meditation, we're always imploring you to like spend time in nature, because nature is the big healer. Nature is where we can top up with prana, with life force. Nature can be very purifying. It can cleanse us in a very subtle level, so we carry less burden in our emotions and in our mind. But sometimes, if you're in the city or you're traveling in, you might not have access to, let's say, physical nature, to be out there under the trees or in the open land, and you might be more like an urban environment. But what Ayurveda says is that actually when you align yourself with the rhythm of nature, whether you are in an urban, like city kind of environment or not, just that fact that you start to wake up when the sun rises and go to sleep more or less soon or not too late after the sun sets, and you start to organize your day around those natural rhythms, that is you connecting and that is you attuning to nature. So when you don't have immediate access to the outdoors, you can still connect with nature in that way. So what I would like to share with you today is just some tips, some understanding of how you could align yourself with the rhythms of nature so that you will feel more creativity, more vitality, more enthusiasm. You'll probably start to wake up after a little while. You start to wake up with more energy, more enthusiasm for the day. You'll most likely find it easier to fall asleep just by tweaking some of your rhythms. Because from an Ayurvedic perspective, the day starts with sunrise. And in the same way that we speak about the doshas, you know, the constitutions of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, they live within us, but they also live in the rhythm of nature. So around just before sunrise is a time of change when we go from basically from the night, we go to dawn into the day. So this time of dawn, just before dawn, just after dawn, is a time of transition, which we call the Vata time. And then till about, so let's say around 6 o'clock, the morning starts. And that's what we say is Kapha time. And that's about from 6 till 10. And then from 10 over noon till 2, from 10 to 2 is the Pitta quality time. And then from 2 till 6, again, back to Vata. And then from 6 to 10, we are again to Kapha. And then in the evening from 10 to 2, it's Pitta, etc. And it just is a very steady rhythm. But what this means is that just before sunrise, in this time of transition, is a great time to actually wake up before the Kapha time start. Kapha is like the more, you know, the heavy, the little bit more lethargic quality within us. It has a lot of positive qualities, but if you wake up way after sunrise, then you wake up with this momentum of heaviness, less movement, and you'll find that it's just more resistance to waking up. You'll feel more dull. Whereas if you wake up before sunrise or just around sunrise, still in the Vata time, that's a fantastic time where you find you're actually quite clear. It's a great time to do your spiritual practices, do your meditation. And then when the dawn transitions into the morning and the Kapha time becomes more predominant, that's a great time for you to do your morning yoga, your stretches, your yoga, your probably your workout would be fantastic. Get your breakfast in and really get going. And then as the morning transitions into the Pitta time around 10 a.m., then your body and your mind, they start to become more alert, more awake, more sharp. So you really build up to, like, let's say when you're basically almost in your full strength. And when Pitta is dominant, that's also the best time when this fire element is fully present to actually have your main meal of the day. So that's why Ayurveda says to have your main meal around lunchtime. Make lunchtime your main meal around noon, but around that time is where you can have like a good healthy meal, and then your whole organism and metabolism is set up for you to have proper digestion. And then when you go from 2 till 6 is more the Vata time, so that's when you can be a little bit more the creative work or go for a walk, which helps you with your digestion still. We tend to be a little bit more diffuse there, a little bit harder to concentrate. But the other hand, it's still a good time if you started your day properly to get things done. But then around 6, Kapha time becomes predominant. So it's good for to nourish yourself, to relax after a day's hard work. And then ideally you want to go to bed towards the end of the Kapha time. So Ayurveda says be in bed before 10:30, before you go into the Pitta time, which we call the second wind. If you wait for too long, and Pitta, like Kapha, will help you to fall asleep. It will help you to slow down. So that's also why Ayurveda recommends to have an evening routine before you go to sleep. Let's say an hour before. Don't use any screen time. Really start to wind down, but use that quality and momentum of Kapha. And then Pitta, ideally you are asleep between 2 p.m. and 2 a.m. That's where Pitta becomes more internal and it's helping your gallbladder and your liver to digest and do its work. So this, I hope, give you some indication in how, as you move with the natural cycles of the day, that you're actually aligning yourself with more natural health, well-being. So try it out. Set your day, schedule it properly, and we're looking forward to sharing more with you very, very soon.